You're listening to The Play Pouch. Welcome back, everyone. This is a special news episode, the first of what I hope to be many. We're just going to go through and discuss a few topics of note regarding the games industry. And I'm going to hand it over to my resident bad boy, Nick. But before I do, if you like our shows, please consider giving us a subscription. Click the notification bell, give us a thumbs up and a comment and good stuff like that. Without any further ado, I'm handing it over. Nick, what have you got for us?
Well, I feel like a real proper journalist now. There's 3 stories that I've been having a look at that I think we might find quite entertaining to have a chat about.
Okay.
Let's start with mine and yours favourite game of 2023. Yeah, Starfield.
Oh, yes.
Good old Bethesda doing Bethesda things as you would expect from Bethesda, and their customer services never fail to disappoint.
Yeah.
What we've got this time is we've got the Steam platform, and we've got people putting reviews on the Steam platform, and lo and behold, we've got some developers, one in particular, because I think it's the same person, yes it is, replying to some of these, and their class as a dev, and some of these replies are fantastically bad, but damn funny. So there's one here, for example, who's complained about the loading screens, how everything's hiding behind the load screen, right? Which is a fair enough complaint. We discussed that.
Absolutely.
And I'll give you a brief summary of the quote because he has wrote quite a lot. But he said stuff like, Starfield is an RPG with hundreds of hours of quests to complete and characters to meet. Most quests will also vary on your character's skills and decisions, massively changing the outcome of your playthrough.
Massively changing the outcome.
That's what he's saying. And then he's telling them, try creating different characters with backgrounds and characteristics that clash or are the opposite of your previous character. So diverse, Pete. You will feel like you're playing a totally different game. Put points into different skills from a character you've previously created, and you are now faced with completely different decisions to make and difficulties to encounter. What else has he written?
I most of that is complete bollocks.
I agree. Oh, he's not finished though. There are so many layers to Starfield, Pete, that you will find things you've never knew were possible after playing for hundreds of hours. Even after completing the main story, your adventure doesn't end. You can continue on to New Game Plus to keep exploring Starfield and all that is out there.
Keep exploring a barren wasteland. Okay, so that comment he makes towards the end where it's like...
Pete, I'm not finished.
Oh, fuck's sake.
And to end it, right, because he's our friend, he says, never stop exploring.
Okay, never stop exploring a barren wasteland. All right.
Like Bethesda customer support. That's the response to the guy complaining about load screens.
Okay.
Really long-winded. That was an extremely long reply.
Yeah, I think he's taking his job quite seriously, actually.
And then he's also put as well, the only part that he has actually really replied to the loading screens, he said, whilst there may be loading screens in between fast travelling, just consider the amount of data for the expansive gameplay that is being procedurally generated to load flawlessly in under 3 seconds if you've got an SSD. We believe the shortcomings will not hinder our players from getting lost in the world we created. That's the only part that he goes into the load screens. Then he goes into that big rant I just told you about. Your thoughts, Pete?
Okay, well, yeah, as I said before, most of it's bollocks. When he says that comment towards the end where it's like drastically changing gameplay and stuff depending on what kind of character you take on, I don't see how that's the case unless there's some secret sort of storyline that unlocks after sort of like 50, run-throughs where you're on like plus 50 new game. I just don't see what the hell the guy's talking about. I mean, it's like there's only certain different types of ways of doing things, and there's only a certain amount of responses. There's only a certain amount of characters, and judging from it, because I've completed it and I've started again, and there are some slight differences, but I got too bored by then. I was like, I don't really fancy going through all these side quests again, to be quite honest with you, let alone the main quest. So, I think he's sort of gotten a bit trigger happy with his words there, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I mean, I've not even managed to finish it once, and the rate that I'm going, considering that I'm more or less playing Final Fantasy now, I'm not sure I ever will actually end up finishing it. So I didn't even manage to finish it once, let alone get involved in the New Game Plus. I
Yeah.
mean, they've got to say this, aren't they? He's not going to come out and say, "Yeah, mate, you're right. It's shitty." I mean, that'd be great if they did, but they're not going to come out and say that, are they?
No, but like at the same time, he's gone to the opposite extreme where he's like, it's a rich and dynamic
I don't know.
universe.
That's what I mean. I don't know. He's done one or two sentences, one small paragraph about the actual issue the guy's talking about, and then he's gone on this tirade about everything else. It's like, well, the guy actually was just talking about the load screens.
I mean, is he sure he's not talking about No Man's Sky or Star Citizen?
Mm.
Because it's like, even Star Citizen is it's got better looking worlds, so and they're barren as fuck, and people still like exploring those planets. So he's trying to cover the game. I think he knows it's shit, but he's sensationalizing it, obviously. So
I mean, and it's the same person, the same customer support person. He's done two or three different replies, but it's a little bit out there, a tangent. It's making the rounds, people, and everyone's having a bit of a laugh at it, us included.
well, I mean, like it's almost as if he's having a go at you because you've complained about it.
Pretty much, yeah.
As it's like, well, I do get how coding might be really difficult, but that's your job, and if you don't like that job, do something else. So don't complain to the complainers. Do you know what I mean? So
Well, before we move on to the next story, remember this: that the reviews for Starfield has now only just gone to mixed. It wasn't mixed before, but it's dropped down to mixed. So maybe
well,
that's the reason why they've kind of decided to reply, because now it's like there's enough bad reviews out there for where it's dropped down on the Steam. Steam has different
yeah.
reviews. Yeah.
Well, it's regional based, isn't it? I think like in the UK and US, it was favourable. I don't know what it is now, but when you consider worldwide, it is mixed. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, Bethesda continue being Bethesda. I guess none of us should be surprised. Okay, the second one, another game that we both have quite a fondness of, at least the original games.
Yeah.
We did a cast on this a couple of weeks ago, the Mass Effect trailer that came out on N7 Day.
Oh,
And
yes.
we saw the new trailer, and I did remember actually saying in that maybe I could see it being 5 years or so. Turns out even I was being optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
According to this, from a gentleman called, what's his name? Jeff Grubb. He
Okay.
did. He was on a podcast the other day, and they were talking about the next Mass Effect game, and then he came out with some quotes, just saying, and I quote: "This game is just nowhere near coming out." He said, "I was told that when they revealed Dragon Age Dreadwolf in 2018, this is similar in terms of timeline. That was announced in 2018, and we're not getting this game until maybe next year." So
Right.
he's saying that the 5 year cycle. So even if it does come out, and he said maybe next year, even if it does come out 2024, which is not guaranteed, then you take 5 years on to that and in 2029. So if Dragon Age does not make it next year, then it could even go as far as 2030. So what's your thoughts on that, dude? It could be 6 years away. Insane, right?
I think he's the problem is he's under the assumption that the whole team is working on one game, and I don't think that's the case. I think that they've obviously divided their team up, and you have to remember that there was some what's the right word? There was some sort of there were some production issues with Dragon Age over the previous few years. We had COVID and all that kind of thing.
That's true.
And I don't think that's going to be continually the case. So I think that Dragon Age has suffered a unique series of setbacks, and I don't think that's going to be necessarily the case for Mass Effect. They need to make a game quick, so they need to release a game quick. So I think that Dragon Age is going to come out fairly soon, as you said, next year probably, and they're just going to go full pelt on the next Mass Effect game.
Do you think that maybe a little bit like Todd Howard did with the Elder Scrolls, the next Elder Scrolls game, that maybe you shouldn't be advertising a game which is 6-7 years away? Is that too much? Is that too much for I remember back in the day when you wouldn't know about a game until 6 months and it'd be coming out at the end of the year. The fact that we're talking about 6-7 years now, is that it's like, do you just shut up? Do you just bite your lip and then wait until you've got something at least half made?
No, it's up to them. I mean, like the thing with Elder Scrolls 6 is that so many people wanted acknowledgement that it is actually coming, and they wanted to be dick teased, and they did get dick teased. So there was like a sort of a 20-second thing saying yes, it's coming. No, I don't mind at all. They can announce games like 10 years in advance. I really couldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I think in some ways it helps for me to sort of look forward to something. But they just have to do it right. If they say, it's going to be fantastic, or like Bethesda keeps doing, it's going to be a fantastic game, blah, 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 and it comes out and it's a load of shit, then I'm just going to be, that's what I don't want to happen.
I really hope the Mass Effect game isn't that long. I mean, I'm just thinking of like my age, and I'm not even going to tell my age, but considering how old I'll be, if that is really true, it's just like, wow. Surely you're not going to wait it's not going to be another 6 years for the next Mass Effect. I mean, Andromeda was 3 or 4 years ago now. It's going to be 10 years? Really? In between Mass Effect games?
Again, you're forgetting that this next Mass Effect is being built in Unreal 5. And, Unreal 5 has cut development time down by a lot. So, it might be 5 years. It might be earlier. Who knows? Well, I don't think it's going to be 2029, though.
This one bums me out a little bit. Maybe, I mean, I hope you're right, and I hope it's not going to be 5 or 6 years. But this bloke seems to think it is. But, he might be wrong. Okay, the last story for today, lads. Let's have a look here. Oh, look, it's Ubisoft. Another great company. Okay, so
what now?
We're talking about ads, aren't we? Again, of course we are. After my rant with Call of Duty the other week, this is nearly as bad.
Right.
Okay, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Somebody has reported that while playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, they went to press. They did the audacious thing, Pete, of daring to go to the map screen.
Right.
Considering how big a world that is, you need to go into the map screen for that game, right?
Of course.
And a Black Friday ad for their new game, Assassin's Creed Mirage, popped up.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I heard about it. It popped up for like a split second and then went away or something, right?
Yeah, and obviously he reported this, and obviously it went around, and there was quite a lot of people upset, as I would be.
Yeah.
Sure. And Ubisoft has noticed all this attention and has had to reply to it. And this is what they have said. Our intention was to display a promotion for Assassin's Creed Mirage as part of the franchise news in the main menu of other Assassin's Creed games. So, like when you go to if you play Assassin's Creed, you go to the main menu and there's like a DLC section in it.
Yeah.
A small box. That's what I'm assuming they mean. Unfortunately, they've added, this technical error caused the promotion to appear in one of our in-game menus instead. Interesting, they did not say the map screen, though. We want to ensure the best player experience possible, and these disruptive pop-ups were promptly removed once we learned of the issue.
Okay.
We appreciate your understanding as we investigate the cause of the issue.
Corporate jargon, whatever. Arse covering, as I also like to call it.
Were they telling the truth?
No, of course they fucking won't. You can't make that kind of mistake when you're designing a UI. You can't make that kind of mistake. Oh, it's supposed to be a tiny little box on the main menu, and it didn't. It was full screen when some dude went to click on his map. No, but you don't make that sort of mistake. I don't know enough about game designing, but I do know that you can't really make that kind of mistake. It was something that they were going to do, I believe. But they ended up deciding not to do it at some point down the production line, and they tried to cover their tracks with it, and something slipped a little bit. Maybe some code has gone a bit astray, and it's appeared.
Do you think it was like one of those testing the waters to see what the reaction was going to be, and then maybe if the reaction wouldn't have been as harsh, they would have said something different, but because the reaction was overly negative, which I would have thought that they would have realised that. Nobody would ever want that, unless it's a free-to-play game. If it's a free-to-play game, maybe you can do stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely.
But these are all paid titles. So maybe I thought maybe they were testing the water. Somebody said, just pop it up for a second, see how pissed off people get. If they get really pissed off, we'll just say it's a bug. If they don't get pissed off, then maybe we can throw another one in another time.
Well, it's one of two things, isn't it? Either it's what you said, they were test bedding it, or it was something that they were going to implement fundamentally with the game code during production and decided not to. it's certainly not a freak accident. Come on, man.
No,
Come on,
no.
give me a break, bro.
Bruv, it's Ubisoft as well, bruv. So yeah, I mean, come
Yeah.
on. I mean, we know they do crappy things, guys. Right. I guess that's it. Those are the 3 news stories. None of them are that great. All quite annoying, really. Bethesda being Bethesda, Mass
Yeah.
Effect delayed for how long, and then Ubisoft being Ubisoft. That's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Can I
So
just say briefly before we do part is that games companies, if you're listening, stop putting full screen fucking adverts into games that we've paid through the nose for. Not all of us are stinking rich. Some of us can barely afford to buy a game once in every 6 months. The last thing we want to fucking see when we buy a game is that turning up. So, yeah.
definitely.
Well, all right. Well done. Yeah. So that's the news for this episode. Hope
Those
you
are the 3
enjoyed.
stories that I got for now, and I'll have another gandy round and find some more another time for us.
Cool. All right, man. If you liked our episode, consider giving us a subscription, clicking the notification bell, giving us a thumbs up. Let us know what you think about this news in the comments section below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you pissed off like we are? And yeah, until next time, we will say goodbye.
Take care, guys.